If you're hearing about Powerball for the first time in 2026, it can look confusing from the outside. But once you understand how it works, the structure is actually very simple. Powerball is a type of lottery game where numbers are drawn at random, and players who match those numbers in specific ways can qualify for prizes. It is important to remember that this is a game of chance, meaning there is no guaranteed method or strategy to predict outcomes. Everything is random, and results are based entirely on draws. Before anything else, it's worth understanding the basic idea behind the game. Powerball is organised in the United States, and it involves selecting a set of numbers and waiting for scheduled drawings to see if your selection matches the official results. In most versions of the game, players choose 5 numbers from a set of white balls and 1 additional number from a separate set called the Powerball. The combination of these numbers determines whether a player wins a prize or not. The appeal of the game comes from the possibility of large jackpot prizes, but again, everything is based on random selection. To begin understanding how a beginner approaches Powerball, imagine walking into a licensed lottery retailer or using an official lottery platform where it is legally available in your region. You would be asked to choose your numbers. Typically, you pick 5 numbers from a range, often 1 through 69, and then select a separate Powerball number from 1 through 26. Some beginners prefer to manually select their own numbers because it feels more personal, like choosing birthdays, anniversaries, or numbers that have meaning to them. Others choose what is known as a quick pick, where the system randomly generates numbers for you. Both methods are treated the same in terms of winning probability, because every number combination has an equal chance of being drawn. Once the numbers are selected, the next step is understanding how the drawing works. Drawings usually happen at scheduled times during the week, and a machine randomly selects the winning numbers. There is no pattern or predictable system behind these draws. Many beginners mistakenly believe they can analyse past results to predict future outcomes, but statistically each draw is independent. This means previous results have no influence on the next one. Every combination has the same probability each time. After purchasing a ticket or entry, players simply wait for the draw. If their selected numbers match the drawn numbers in specific combinations, they may win prizes. The biggest prize, often called the jackpot, is awarded when all numbers match exactly, including the Powerball. There are also smaller prize tiers for matching fewer numbers, such as only the Powerball or a partial match of the white balls. These smaller wins are more common, but still based entirely on chance. For beginners, it is also important to understand how prize levels are structured. Even if you do not match all numbers, you might still qualify for a lower tier prize, depending on how many numbers you match correctly. The system is designed to reward partial matches, which keeps the game engaging for many players. However, it is essential to stay realistic about expectations, because the odds of hitting the top jackpot are extremely low. Another concept beginners often encounter is something called rollover. If no one matches all the required numbers for the jackpot, the prize increases for the next drawing. This is how jackpots can grow to very large amounts over time. The more consecutive drawings without a jackpot winner, the larger the prize becomes. This is one of the reasons Powerball often gains media attention when jackpots reach extremely high figures. When participating, players are usually required to purchase tickets before a cut-off time on the day of the draw. After that deadline, entries are closed for that round. Each ticket contains your selected numbers and serves as proof of entry. It is important to keep the ticket safe until results are announced, because it is the only way to claim any potential winnings. Checking results is straightforward. After each draw, winning numbers are published through official lottery channels, websites, or authorised retailers. Beginners typically compare their ticket numbers with the official draw results to see if they have any matches. If there is a winning combination, the next step is usually claiming the prize through official channels, which may vary depending on the size of the win. A key thing to understand early is that Powerball is not a skill-based game. There is no technique that improves your chances in a mathematical sense. Every ticket has the same probability of winning, regardless of who selects it or how the numbers are chosen. This is why responsible participation is important, especially because it is easy to misunderstand luck-based systems as something that can be influenced. Many beginners also wonder about number selection strategies, but it is important to be honest about what they actually do. Some people like to avoid common number patterns such as consecutive digits or repeated sequences, thinking it improves their chances. However, from a mathematical standpoint, all combinations are equally likely. The machine does not recognize patterns or preferences, it simply draws numbers randomly. Another thing worth noting is that winnings are subject to rules and regulations, depending on where the ticket is purchased. Some regions may require identification for claiming prizes, especially larger amounts. In many cases, smaller prizes can be collected at retail locations, while larger winnings may require visiting official lottery offices. It is also important for beginners to understand responsible participation. Because the idea of large jackpots can be exciting, it is easy for people to spend more than they intended. The safest approach is to treat it as entertainment rather than a financial strategy. Many experienced players emphasize that the outcome should never be relied upon for income or financial planning. Powerball also allows optional features in some regions, such as additional game add-ons or multipliers that can increase non-jackpot prizes. These features typically require an extra cost per entry and can enhance potential secondary winnings, but they do not change the core odds of the jackpot itself. Beginners should carefully read the rules before participating, so they fully understand how each feature works. As you become more familiar with the system, you will notice that most of the process is straightforward. Choose numbers, purchase a ticket, wait for the draw, and check the results. The simplicity is part of what makes it widely played, even though the outcomes are completely unpredictable. In 2026, with digital access becoming more common, many players also participate through official mobile apps or authorized online platforms where available. These platforms typically allow users to select numbers, store tickets digitally, and receive notifications about results. Even with digital convenience, the fundamental rules remain exactly the same as traditional paper tickets. For a beginner, the most important takeaway is understanding that Powerball is a game built on random chance. There is no guaranteed system, no secret formula, and no reliable prediction method. The experience is centered around anticipation and luck, rather than skill or strategy. Knowing this from the beginning helps set realistic expectations and prevents misunderstandings about how the game actually works. So as you step into learning how it operates, think of it as a simple cycle. Select numbers, enter a draw, wait for results, and understand the outcome based purely on chance. Everything else, from jackpots to smaller prizes, flows from that basic structure.